What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video, and today is Dragon Quest XI, pretty much launch day for many of you guys that are watching this at this point, whether you're getting the game digitally on the eShop, you're going out to a 24-hour store, or you're going to be picking it up in the morning or afternoon or whatever the case is. Happy Dragon Quest XI-S. Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition launch on the Nintendo Switch. I have a couple different things that I want to talk about this game when it comes to just hyping it up just a little bit and giving my own perspective on the game, because the game is absolutely phenomenal based on what I've played from the demo on the Switch and then also the PS4 base version of the game. There's a lot of enhancements and improvements that make a way better gameplay experience on the Switch, so I want to talk about that in addition to a couple different topics, going over some of the stuff surrounding the game. Recently there was a live stream with Masahiro Sakurai and the Dragon Quest producers talking about the game, and one of the things that really caught my attention was that the developers wanted to fulfill their promise to Satoru Iwata about Dragon Quest XI coming over to Nintendo Switch. And then I also wanted to talk about the amazing reviews that this game is getting. So let's go ahead and hop into the first thing here with the Dragon Quest developers and Satoru Iwata. So during the recent Dragon Quest XI-S channel Countdown special live stream, the developers discussed Dragon Quest XI-S's long journey to the Nintendo Switch. Late Nintendo president Satoru Iwata, before his passing, had conversations with them about the hardware and revealing its hybrid ability of being able to play at home or on the go. Other crucial information, like the system's name, were still under wraps. Now, some might be curious to why Dragon Quest XI-S was announced so early on and why it was made known before the Switch was unveiled. We can thank Iwata for that, as it was a request of his for the RPG to appear on Nintendo's new platform. The developers said in the stream that they've now delivered on their promise to bring Dragon Quest XI-S to the Nintendo Switch. And this is a very heartwarming story that I really like to talk about these type of things, because Satoru Iwata did so many great things for Nintendo, and I think that the Nintendo Switch was his last parting gift in terms of an idea that only somebody who's really thinking to like the next level can really kind of comprehend and put into notion. Most people in terms of other companies would have never greenlit this type of project at like Microsoft or at Sony. There's no way that they would have done something like this, because there's so many restrictions that you have to look out for. You don't have a big box that's like x86 or that you can put a disk drive in there. You don't have the resources in terms of the cartridge media, right? Like everyone's using type of Blu-ray or something like that to get a lot of data out there. You don't have all that. You don't have massive hard drives and all of this. It was such a risk for Nintendo to do this, especially after the failure of the Wii U, which was more of a traditional system than the Nintendo Switch is, because at least with the Wii U, you can connect normal hard drives to it, and it also uses a form of like Blu-ray that has more data on there. So at least you can do that. But with this Switch cartridge stuff, they're more expensive normally than Blu-rays. If you're looking to have more than 16 gigabytes of cartridge space, and even with those 16 gigabyte cartridges, you're paying a little bit more for them. There's all sorts of restrictions when it comes to space with like the hard drive, because you can't have a normal hard drive in there, and it just makes it just harder for developers when it comes to using a mobile chip and not on the same exact type of architecture that they normally use. Now, it does have the NVIDIA, and developers know how to use that, but it's not the big x86 box that developers want. So there was a lot of people who said that this was not going to be a successful system, and Satoru Iwata had his vision for what he wanted to do, and it worked. It worked really, but there was a lot of negativity because of the failure of the Wii U, really ignoring the success of the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii and the DS that Iwata all had, and even the Game Boy Advance too. So to me, this was great. I love the fact that this game is finally arriving on the Nintendo Switch. It's a phenomenal game with a lot of cool stuff, and it's great to see the developers say that, hey, we fulfilled our promise. We wanted to make sure that we went through with this, and not only did they go through with it, the Switch version of the game is really, really good. They even talked about how the game, they don't see it as a straight port of the game. They see it as a remake in their eyes because of all the stuff that was added, how they didn't just take over the code from the PS4 version and put it on the Switch. They literally kind of built the game up for the Switch and redid a ton of stuff, made a Switch version of this game, not a port of the PlayStation 4 version, where there's Switch specific controls. They really fine-tuned things for the system itself, built in a ton of great and extra content and features. So obviously it's not a remake per se in the sense that a lot of people would see it as, but how the developers are talking about the game, that they really just said, hey, we're going to make this version of the game for the Switch, and that's the reason why it took 2 years after the PlayStation 4 and also the Nintendo 3DS version. And if you look at it, having to write that code to get both of the different 3D and the 2D modes in the game to be able to be swapped seamlessly like they're doing, that's actually pretty nuts when you look at it. A lot of games can't do that at all. You don't see that really at all because that's a lot of work. So I have no problem with it, and at the end of the day, is it a great game? That's really all that matters, and yes, it is. And moving on to the next topic concerning Dragon Quest, we're going to talk about the review scores for the Nintendo Switch version of Dragon Quest XI S, Echoes of an Elusive Age. So right now with 24 reviews, as of the time that I'm recording this video, there is a Metacritic score of a 90%. That is very good. That is actually 4% above the PlayStation 4 version of the game. So this is absolutely amazing to see the game get so many good review scores. It's just all green. When you go on Metacritic, you see the 24 scores here. It's 24 positive, 0 mixed, and 0 negative, with the highest score being a 95 from V Games. You also have other publications like Cubed 3 as well that have given it a 90. Eurogamer Italy giving it a 90 as well. But there was one review that I was looking at, I was like, I don't know about this one here. There was one site and they stated that it is an 8 or an 80 or whatever you want to call it, 8 out of 10, and they gave the PS4 version the same 8 out of 10 2 years prior. Now they were different reviewers, but at the same time it's like, but wait a minute, the Switch version has everything the PS4 version has minus the resolution, and then some with a lot extra content and a lot more stuff that's going to be useful for gamers when it comes to a gameplay experience. Why would you give it the same score? Now if you work at a review site, you go back and you look at the review that your peer did or that somebody looked at. Obviously you looked at that review. There's no way that that person didn't see that review, and if they didn't, then I would say, yo, you guys got to train the people there to look at some of the reviews. At least look at what one of your peers said when it comes down to it. But I don't agree with getting the same score. I don't think resolution means that it's going to be the same score, especially considering all the stuff that they added into the game. But hey, that's just my own opinion on it. But outside of that small little quibble that I have with one of the review scores, I think this is really awesome. To get a 90 on Metacritic, it is very hard. You have to think about this, guys. Look at all of the new games that came out on the Nintendo Switch that didn't get a 90, right? You look at Super Mario Maker, you also look at Fire Emblem 3 Houses, you also have Astral Chain. There's a lot of games that came out for the Nintendo Switch that are amazing games that didn't get that review score. So to see it at a 90 is very, very good. Now we'll see if it drops down a little bit or not, but this is a fantastic RPG experience that a lot of people are going to love if you give it a shot. Now there is a demo on the eShop, so if you haven't played it yet and you want to kind of test it out, you can try it out. But some of the things that I love about the Nintendo Switch version of the game, which they've added in, is a speed up option. For those who don't know, in the original version of the game, you pretty much just go with the flow of battle. There is a free battle mode, which is horrible. It's still a turn-based RPG, but it just lets you move around for no reason. It really just serves no purpose. But then there's also the regular turn-based mode where it just goes to your character, then you pick whatever option you're going to pick. However, in the Switch version, you can actually speed that up so you can get through battles a lot quicker and earn experience quicker, so the game doesn't feel slower. This is very similar to like if you have like those ROMs on your PC back in the day, used to be able to speed things up. It's kind of like that with this version of the game. Also on your horse, you can actually knock out weak enemies right there on the map to gain quick experience too. So it takes out some of the grindy nature of Dragon Quest XI, especially because this game is really long. Heck, the PS4 version, you can spend 100 hours plus in that game. While on the Switch version, you have a bunch of extra content on top of everything else. You can spend maybe 150 hours in this game or something crazy like that. It's definitely going to be more than 100 because the PS4 version, you can do that. Although they do have the speed up option, so that might kind of alter things just a little bit. But either way, it's still a very good addition, and probably one of the unsung heroes of the addition to this version of the game is the music, because the music was the MIDI. It just was not great on the PlayStation 4, considering it's the PS4, PS4 Pro, it's enhanced gameplay, and the graphics look great, and the gameplay is so good, and the music is just like, man, this is bad, right? This music does not sound very good, but they've got that all redone, got the orchestra on the Nintendo Switch this time, so it sounds really good. The quality is unmistakable. So to me, this Switch version of the game is essentially the real definitive version of the game, and I'm going to be excited to kind of get into it. Like I said, I've already played the demo, love it. Really didn't play after I streamed it. I was like, hey, I'm just going to get right into it once the game launches, and it's just great to see a Nintendo system get these RPGs again. That was my main complaint about the Wii U, is that there wasn't enough high quality RPGs released throughout the system's life, and the Switch just said, okay, you want high quality RPGs? Heck, you're going to get them pretty much every single year, multiple times, even multiple high quality RPGs in the same month. I mean, we just got that, right? You have Ni no Kuni that just came out on the Nintendo Switch, which is phenomenal, absolutely amazing game. And then you also have Dragon Quest XI that's launching. And then just in July, we had Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is a phenomenal RPG, along with Dragon Quest Builders 2 as well, which is a great hybrid Minecraft RPG type of game. And even Marvel Ultimate Alliance had some nice RPG elements thrown into there. So it's great to see all of these awesome RPGs coming over, but the hardcore classic turn-based and even the modified real-time strategy type of games with Ni no Kuni, real-time combat, kind of a weird mix between turn-based and action. Ni no Kuni's great. To see these games all coming over is amazing. Dragon Quest XI S, 90% on Metacritic, doing really good. So I'm excited to see how Nintendo Switch fans respond to this game. Metacritic gives it a must play, and it's the second best Switch game of 2019 when it comes to review scores so far. So awesome stuff there. So what are you guys' thoughts when it comes to Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.